Hello designers and welcome back to A Sale by Sketchbook. This week is going to be a tutorial for Lumion 8. I have been working on Lumion 8 for the past few months and I love it. I love it because it's easy to use, it's super simple, it's compatible with SketchUp. This is why SketchUp is one of my favorite modeling softwares, just because you can find right about anything in the 3D warehouse. It saves me time, I can convey my ideas better to my clients, and it works a lot better to me than anything else. Like, it's not perfect, but I still prefer it to all the other modeling software. In this video, I'll show you the basics of Lumion 8. Before we do that, if you are going to be using SketchUp, if you don't want this, then I'll leave timestamps in the description. You can skip over it. But it's important for you to know this because I wish that I knew this before. Face on SketchUp, when you draw any interface on SketchUp and it's blue, then it will not show on Lumion. It will be actually transparent. So what you want to do before exporting it, you'll have to make sure that the edges are closed, but you can basically go to that surface and reverse faces and your problem is solved. Also, what you want to pay attention for is the materials, because I still do a lot of mistakes when it comes to those things. But say that I want this to be a different material. If you want to apply materials, you'll have to define the materials in SketchUp before you go to Lumion, which is kind of difficult, but it's actually, like, once you get used to it, it's actually fun to do so. And I don't know about you, but it helps me visualize better. What I struggled with in the beginning was exporting the file. I didn't know how to export it. I just export it as a 3D model. It's collada file.dae. So let's talk about Lumion now. We're done with the SketchUp tips. I hope that it helped. So basically what you have right here is the interface. You see my computer speed is actually between the too slow and the minimum. If you get a computer with a very advanced graphic cards, then you will go to the recommended. These are the presets. It's like white, mountains in spring, mountain range, plain, sunset, and night. These are all presets that you can use. There's also examples. As you can see, it's just super cool, like garden, beach house, I don't know. So cool if you want to explore and get familiar with it. You can load scenes, you can save scenes. But for me, what I like to do is I like to start with a plain surface. How you navigate is you either use the arrows on your computer or the WASD, like if you're gaming, which makes it actually really fun. And if you don't want that, then you can use the mouse. Now let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. If you see this little question mark, it's hidden behind my recording software. This will show you the basics about the buttons that are in the main screen. Here is the build, the photo tool, movie, panorama if you want. And then there's the files, so you can load your files or you can save the file. And then on the other side, you'll see the material, landscape, weather, and the objects. If you want to start, you will need to get your object into the model first. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to imports and I'm gonna say import new model. It's one that I've used before, so I'm just gonna change the name for it and then I can simply import it. When you add it to the library, it will automatically save it to your importing library. Now I'll have to wait a little bit because my computer is too slow to minimum. That doesn't stop me. Nothing should stop you. Don't wait until you get the perfect computer or the perfect headphones. Do whatever it is that you have to do with the stuff that you already have. You'll not regret it. Also, this software is super easy, but everything in life is just like you have to take time and diligence just to learn the basics. Then from there you become a little bit more than a beginner and then you become an expert. That's how all of us start, kid. Okay, that was my wisdom, as my computer is kind of driving me nuts right now. I've loaded this scene. I've modeled this long time ago on SketchUp. And this is by no means is perfect. This was actually very old. First thing that you will need to know is to apply materials. Now, I know that we can already see materials here, but until you apply the Lumion materials, you'll see a whole lot of difference. So basically, when you go to the materials, you can see all of the 4 categories, which is nature, indoor, outdoor, and custom. And the main thing about Lumion that I love, it's my favorite thing, is the pure glass. They actually developed this material, which is super cool, super nice. And if you double click on a material, you can actually increase the reflectivity. You can, you know, tone down the opacity. You can see the options all in front of you. And as you can see immediately, it got me the sun inside. Now the thing is, you have to take the time to actually go through these materials and pick the one that you like the most. And you have more than one tab. I didn't discover this until very much later on in the game. I know that's stupid, but in the beginning you're just like, oh my god, I don't know how to deal with this. So choosing the materials is time consuming, but you can save presets on Lumion. Let me know what you want to see next, because this will be like super like basic. I will not put a whole lot of information. I'll just show you what Lumion is capable of. There's also the custom material thing, which by the way, it turns on the gloss and reflectivity immediately, so you'd want to avoid that. I like to do colorization. See, if you have open surfaces, this is what happens. And the thing is, you cannot model in Lumion. I know that you can update the model somehow. I still didn't learn that yet. So just showing you the potential at this time and age. If you go to pure glass and you make the reflectivity in the full range, then you'll get a mirror. The glass action is the coolest one because it's so pretty, so perfect. You can also like decrease the opacity. By turning on the transparency, you can, you know, create this effect. And I'm totally changing the look because why not? What's beautiful about Lumion as well is that honestly you don't feel like it's work. You actually, or I don't know if it's just me and I'm a nerd, but I actually enjoy working on Lumion. The thing is, there's a lot of sub options within the main options, so what you have to do is you have to experiment. There's a lot of tutorials that talk in detail about this, so I'll link some of them down below. But for me, I'm just showing you what it's capable of, or like I'm showing you what you can do if you are interested in Lumion and you don't know if it's the right software for you. I'm showing you in action how easy it is to use. Now, this scene is not complete at all, but at least we adjusted the materials a little bit and we can see a little bit of a difference. I want to introduce you to the Objects tab. The Objects tab is one of the best things that ever happened to me. Just because, as you can see, you can absolutely add anything that is within the Lumion library. For example, you can add electronics, decoration. Decoration makes it like alive. So let me show you. For example, I want to add some books on here. So you can move the objects using these little commands right here. And you can change the height for it by basically tapping on the blue dot, and it just adjusts the height, the movement. You can move it up or down or anywhere you want. It's kind of tricky, but still, like sizing the object, this will work nicely because the books are bigger than the space here. And you can absolutely rotate if you want. What you can add as well is nature, which is like trees, and this comes in handy whether you are like you want the outside to look a little bit cooler than it already is. Oh, there's a random box in here, but okay. So you can see that it has like, it created this little effect, but like it creates this effect of life outside. And of course you can import if you want something specific. Of course you convert it first to the collada. The cool thing also is that you can add effects such as water, fire, smoke, and fog, and all of them are super realistic. Like, let me show you with the fog. Super cool to render as well. But you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking a little bit of sun within this fog would be nice, although this is like not a context for the fog, it's just that I think it's cool. So there's the weather tab, and the weather tab, my second favorite thing, that is like you can choose the sun direction. So if we go outside, you can see it's better. You can choose the height. And you can choose where the sun goes. So this is like at dawn or sunset. And you can choose like the amount of clouds that you have. You can change the size of the sun. Or you can make it pitch black and now it's dark and it's beautiful. By the way, just like I have to tell you that working on Lumion is actually very therapeutic, especially if you take the time and you make an environment around you, which by the way you can do using the landscape. It's like it acts like a brush that you can paint different kind of mountains, and it's so cool to work with it. You can even add water if you're interested, like you can add a water plane if that's something you might need. And you can add grass. You can turn on grass. You can turn on like a, you can see the grass size with the water like making no sense. And something super cool that I'm pretty sure that all of us, because I've asked a couple of people and they all said that they fantasized about having their rooms covered in water. So now you can do it and you can look at it. Look at that. It's beautiful. The scenes in Lumion are so therapeutic. Okay, let's go inside with the water. You want to see something cool? Something you've never seen before? Okay. I'll show you. So like the height. Oh my god, look at that. That's quality, guys. It's beautiful, okay? I can't get over it and I can't help it, but I love this. Anyway, let's turn on the ocean, turn off the ocean, turn off the grass because we don't need it right now. And let's definitely remove the fog because it's not doing anything to our interior. But it's good to know that you have this as an option, you know? Now, if you go to the lights and special objects, one of my favorite tabs again, you can see the line light, which we can use as like the cove light. So let me show you what I mean. You can use it as the cove light. You can adjust the width and the length of it so you can see how it looks like. Of course, you can move it in however you please. Let's increase the width. But just to show you, like, it has this effect on it where you can see how, you know, a hidden light or a cove light would look like. You can also add regular lights like this one if I want to demonstrate on the wall lamp. So basically I'm just gonna drop it here so you can see how it looks like, and you can adjust the cone angle and the brightness. You can adjust even the color, add sound if you want. You can add people, you can add a pet, an animal even. Let's get a cat in here. Just, it feels right. First you're gonna go back and forth between things until you get the perfect combination, perfect, you know, sunlight. It's a wonderful thing. Lumion is a wonderful thing. I don't think I'll ever stop using it, but just look how the lighting enters the room. And the thing is, it will show. I'll show you how it will look after we render it. Almost forgot something. It will not fit within our context here because I don't have anything that needs this. But let me show you on here. Is there? Okay. So you know when you have lamps, I want to make this shiny. How do I make this shiny? I go to custom material, standard, and then I go from these tabs right here. I will go to settings and I'll raise my massive bar so it will look something like that, which I think is really nice, especially if you want to give this effect to an outdoor place, if that's what you're doing. But It will not light up your scene when you render it in nighttime, but it will add the nice touch to the space. Yeah, let's add more objects to make this house a home, because clutter is everything. Okay, so now that I have this scene, what I can do is I want to render it and I want to have a picture of it. So when you go to the camera right here, you're gonna see the photo tool, which by the way, you can take a photo of any angle. But the thing is that I'm just showing you the potential, so you can do it yourself. Best thing about rendering in Lumion is this guy, custom style. Custom style, you can choose multiple styles, whether it's watercolor, look at it, like this is gorgeous. But also you can choose realistic. If you want something that conveys the true image of the space, you can increase the exposure. Like if you're using Photoshop, you can increase you can sharpen the objects. You can go for color corrections. I always find that rendering in Lumion kind of makes the space warmer. So you can adjust all of these, but I'm pretty satisfied with what I have right here, maybe a little warmer. So we can go back to the reflection, which by the way, reflection is exclusive to Lumion, so it's super cool. It's a speed ray reflection, and you can see how fast it is. You can add surfaces where you can reflect on. Any surface that you have added the reflection adjustment on, you can definitely add the reflection on it, but it's limited to 10 surfaces. It takes over a lot of your graphic card performance, so this is why you're not allowed to add a lot of objects. Render the current shot. The important thing to remember when it's rendering, I didn't know that before, leave it open. Do not minimize the Lumion window. Don't click on the show desktop button. Don't do the Ctrl-Alt-Delete while it's rendering. Preferably keep it open. You're not gonna regret it. Now take a look at that. Now if we do open the folder, it's finished within like, I don't know, 2 minutes, 1 minute or 2 minutes. And it looks like that. Of course, I didn't play around with it as much as I should. And I know I could have done a lot better, because I didn't do much effort with it. But you can see how incredible it is for the speed of the render and for the effects that were there. The lighting is a little off, I have to say, because I also increased the exposure. I shouldn't have done that. The model in SketchUp itself, it wasn't perfect, so I didn't, you know, play it in the detail of the ceiling. There's, you know, a lot of elements missing here. So overall, it's super easy to render on Lumion. And I know that I didn't go in detail about the rendering, especially about the rendering, depth of field, effects like that. But right now it's already 20 minutes for the tutorial. So you guys, if you want like an in-depth tutorial, I'll leave some links down below, and let me know down in the comments, and I'll manage my time, get you a good tutorial soon. Ask me anything, I'll try to answer as much as I can. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great time of the day wherever you are in the world. Goodbye.